The safety needs of children in traffic are similar in all countries. This film is part of the safety program, Child and Traffic, developed by the German Traffic Safety Council in Bonn. Children in traffic. How many of them will be accident victims this year? Will one of these kids be among them? So far, our safety efforts have not been good enough. And why not? Do we really understand how children see traffic and how they react to it? We need to know more if we are to help make children safer in traffic. Signs, signals, markings, warnings, and automobiles, motorcycles, intersections, and all these things that make up traffic. Every one of us must cope with this never-ending flow of information. We have to obey rules and regulations, without which there would be sheer chaos in our streets. But these rules have been made up by adults, and almost exclusively for adults. And messages which are clear to adults may not necessarily be so obvious to children. Children were shown these pedestrian crossing symbol signs. Without knowing the actual meanings of the signs, children thought that here, a pedestrian crossing, only grown-ups were allowed to cross, because there's a grown-up in the crosswalk. Here, the children's sign, they believed that you had to rush across the street because the children were doing so on the sign. Such thoroughly reasonable deductions by children are an indication that they see and understand traffic differently from grown-ups. Thus, a child may see a car as a creature with eyes, mouth, and nose. A child often combines fantasy and reality. It may appear to children that those shiny car lights are staring at them. What can we do to reduce the danger to children in traffic? If children behave differently from adults, then we must learn to see traffic through their eyes and act accordingly. Children see and hear differently. Of course children see differently, for they are small. To a child, every parked car completely hides what's behind it. In this situation, the child sees an approaching vehicle much too late and will hardly be noticed by the driver. Therefore, if there is the slightest possibility of children being around, the driver has to take his foot off the accelerator and be ready to brake. We all know how children cover their eyes, believing that then nobody will see them. A similar thing happens with children in traffic. Children make the assumption if they see the car will see them. This is a particularly dangerous situation because the driver will have trouble seeing the child among the multitude of things he has to watch, and yet the child could suddenly dart out into traffic. A child's field of vision is almost 1/3 narrower than that of an adult. Therefore, it is difficult for children to see events occurring in the outer edge of their visual field. This scene shows why the child will see the approaching car much later than an adult. Children will hear the sound of a car, but will discover the car only after looking around for it several times. Why is this? While it's true that children have an acute sense of hearing, they cannot readily determine the direction from which sound is coming. Often they look in the wrong direction. Children have the same problem locating a driver's warning signal. Also, children are easily distracted and endangered when a friend calls out to them. The friend is more important to the child than the approach of the motorcycle. Children perceive traffic situations differently. Not until about 6 to 8 years of age do children develop a sense of danger. At a younger age, they cannot see nor understand a dangerous situation developing. Thus, They don't see any danger in this situation, which would make every adult's hair stand on end. Children cannot judge speed or distance either. A child can tell by the changing shapes that the dog is running. But a moving car doesn't change its shape. Therefore, small children cannot even tell the difference between a standing and a moving car. Even some older children have difficulty judging when one car is going faster than the other. Thus, it may happen that a child will let a slower car pass and cross in front of the fast-moving car. They do not know that cars need a stopping distance because they think that cars can stop as quickly as pedestrians. A child cannot perceive difficult traffic situations as well as an adult. We are all familiar with this situation. You're about to cross. The car stops for you, but there's another vehicle coming from behind it. You are not sure that the moped will stop, so you stop. But in the same situation, children would continue to cross, assuming that the moped will stop. Children react spontaneously and unexpectedly. Unlike adults, children tend to concentrate on only one thing at a time. Here, the ball demands all the attention. The traffic is a negligible event to the child. A similar situation exists when school's out. They want to get home in a hurry to play and don't pay much attention to what's going on around them. We have to understand that children are in perpetual motion. But unlike adults, children cannot easily break off from what they've started. When they run toward the street, they will surely not stop at the curb. Their eagerness to be in motion exceeds their caution in traffic. The time it takes for a pedestrian signal to change is often too long for children. So they start running against the red light because after sitting still in school all day long, they get impatient with the extra waiting time. Being in a hurry is a major cause of unsafe actions by children. The hurry when they are late for school or their eagerness to get home to play, these needs are so important that safety rules are often forgotten. That is why we must be extra careful in the morning and when school closes. However, it is often adults who are in such a hurry that they cross against the red light. Children will imitate such bad examples and run after the adults, getting themselves into a dangerous situation. Children imitate adults. Smaller children imitate bigger children. Here, only good examples will help. On a bicycle, children can move much faster. They learn to operate a bicycle quickly, but they tend to be overconfident. A bicycle gives children a sense of power and an opportunity to try to impress others. Smaller children are anxious to be like the bigger bike riders. They too will take chances and overestimate their ability to ride safely. So you have to be careful in school areas even before you see the school traffic signs. Children behave differently. Children are not small adults. Their understanding and knowledge is limited by their age, development, and experience in the world, and they still have much to learn. The rules and regulations by which they have to live have been made by adults. It is difficult and often impossible for children, therefore, to understand the need and the reason for these rules. In their young lives, fantasy and reality are still intertwined. Many things which are no longer important to adults are very important to children, more so than traffic safety and its rules. We accept the rules of traffic because without them, nothing would work. But we should also make use of our imagination and try to understand and to enter the realm of the child's mind. Up until about 9 years of age, children are injured in traffic primarily as pedestrians. When children begin to attend kindergarten or first grade is a particularly critical time because they're exposed to new experiences in traffic and they have to travel longer distances on their own and along unfamiliar roadways. As drivers, we must always be aware that a child may react in unexpected ways. In summary, let's review what we should pay particular attention to. Children mix fantasy and reality and see cars as living creatures. Children are small, therefore, they have difficulty seeing us and being seen by us. Children think that because they can see the car, the driver must see them. Children have a narrower field of vision than adults, almost 1/3 less. Children cannot easily judge the direction from which a sound is coming and pick out only the sound that interests them the most. Children have no sense of danger. Children cannot judge speed and distance. Children cannot perceive complicated traffic situations. Children are easily distracted, and they spontaneously focus their attention on that which is of interest to them. Children have abundant energy, and once begun, any motion must be completed. Children imitate bad examples of adults in traffic. Children on bicycles may take chances because they often overestimate their knowledge and strength. Children think, feel, and act differently from adults. Therefore, we must learn to understand them. We must not rely solely on traffic regulations, for children have their own concepts, and we have to take those into account. Only if we change our view of children in traffic and develop a greater knowledge and understanding of their mind and their differences can we hope to be more successful in preventing tragic accidents to children on our streets and highways. Remember, children in traffic, they are different.